Good morning. Welcome back to Daybreak. And this segment is Randy's Corner. And I'm your host, Randy Clark. And I got a real special guest here with me today. This is Sylacauga Fire Chief Nate Osgood.
Hey, Randy, thanks for having me on.
Good morning, Chief.
morning.
How you doing?
Doing well.
Let's talk about fire safety. It's done. We done had a couple weeks of cool weather. People starting to turn the heaters on. One of the first questions I want to ask you is I hear a lot of people saying, "What is that smell?"
Right, when you turn your heaters on. So
Right.
so that's just the dust that's collected on your heating coils over the summer and the time you haven't used it. So it smells like something burning, but it's not an actual fire. It's not an emergency. Usually it only happens the first time you turn your heater on, and after that you're good to go.
It's we smell it every year, right?
That's right, and if it becomes a regular problem, call your HVAC company. They can come out and clean those coils for you and that kind of stuff.
But it's not a fire.
No, no fire on that one.
Right. Even though it might smell like one, it'll go away in just a few minutes, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's while we're talking about heaters, could you mention fire prevention on space heaters?
Yeah, absolutely. So, space heaters are something that we pull out this time of year. We don't want anybody to be cold. I have space heaters in my house. Most people, have one floating around somewhere. The biggest thing, or the biggest two things, is they should be plugged in directly to the wall. So don't use a power strip, don't use an extension cord.
That's very important.
It is. Most of the time, those power strips aren't rated for the amperage that those heaters pull, and that can actually cause an electrical fire.
Right.
And then the second thing is make sure that you keep 3 feet of distance in front of or around your heaters. You don't want to throw your clothes over the top of them, or have a pile of combustible material right in front of them, because it can heat it up to the point where it can actually start a fire.
One more thing about heaters, fireplaces. I hear all the time about people talking about why they got burn holes in front of the fireplace.
Right. Yep.
It
Keep the
happens.
screen up there. Yep. And something else that a lot of people just tend to forget about, because that's out of sight, out of mind. If you've got a wood burning fireplace, make sure you get the chimney cleaned, because we will undoubtedly respond to a handful of chimney fires over the winter.
Super
Happens every year.
important. Keep that chimney clean.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And like you said, mention the fire screen one more time.
Right in front of your fireplace, just to keep a burning log from rolling out or something like that. Like you said, most people who have a fireplace have experienced at some point something popping out and melting the carpet, and obviously that has the potential to lead to a fire, and we don't want that to happen.
Right. And it's that time of year, check these smoke detectors.
Absolutely. So that's a huge thing in the fire service, and when it comes to fire safety, is to make sure that the smoke detectors, the batteries are changed, that they're working properly. Most older smoke detectors have that 9-volt battery in them. We say change them twice a year. When the clocks change, it's a good reminder to change your batteries. And nowadays they actually have smoke detectors that you can go to Walmart or Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever and buy, and they have 10-year batteries in them. Right. And you don't even have to change the 9-volt battery anymore. You just put them up, and in 10 years they start beeping because they go bad, and you pull them down and stick up a new one.
Well, it's not a bad idea. If you got an old one where you got to change your batteries every year, go out to Home Depot and get some new ones, right?
That's right. Yeah. So the vast majority, and the percentages are different depending on which study you look at, but the vast majority of fire deaths occur in homes without working smoke detectors.
Right.
And when I say the vast majority, I mean we're talking 9 out of 10 of residential fire fatalities happen in homes without working smoke detectors. So smoke detectors are absolutely life-saving pieces of equipment, and they're cheap and they're easy to put up, and there's really no excuse for not having them.
Chief, this is not on the list, but I did have somebody mention it to me, and burning leaves.
Mm-hmm.
What is the actual city ordinance about burning leaves and burning brush in Sylacauga?
So we don't have a very stringent ordinance on it. Now, every year we get put under that ADEM burn ban, the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, and it has nothing to do with fire weather. It has to do with air quality, and we're lumped into a lot of different counties that are included in that burn ban. So for every year from March 1st through October 31st, we get put into that burn ban. So as we get into the next month now, that burn ban will be lifted. We don't have an issue with people burning their leaves and their sticks. We do ask that you call the fire department, call the fire station on our non-emergency number, and get a burn permit. And really all that is just you letting us know that you're going to be burning. And we ask that you not burn piles of yard trash in the overnight hours or after dark. And we just ask that you have it within reach of a hose pipe, in case it starts to get out of hand. But other than that, as long as it's natural materials, now we're not talking about burning your
We're
kitchen
not
trash.
burning no trash.
That's right. We're talking about natural materials, leaves, sticks, that kind of stuff. Because sure, people want to clean up their yards, and we don't want to get in the way of that at all. We just want to make sure we do it safely.
Right. Y'all got a lot of emergencies going on where you don't need to go out and check somebody's leaves burning, right?
Right. Yeah. And just on that topic, we've actually seen a pretty significant uptick in our house fires over the last month or so. For all the various different reasons, no real smoking gun, but it happens, and it is happening, and the best fire is the one that never happens. But it's really hard for us to measure how effective our fire safety is, and we kind of hit the same talking points every year. But it's important to keep reminding people because they do happen, and we don't want it to happen to you.
Right. Now, let's talk about the bedroom doors. Some things that don't get talked about a lot that's really important.
Yes. So one of the big pushes in the fire service nationwide right now is that close before you doze mantra.
Okay, explain further.
Exactly. So when you go to bed at night, close your bedroom door, because if a fire occurs, that gives extra time inside of that bedroom where you don't have the high heat conditions and you don't have the heavy smoke conditions. It gives somebody extra time to get woken up by their smoke detector, to figure out a way out, and in worst case scenarios gives us extra time to get to you. And sometimes it can be a difference of several minutes, and several minutes in that situation is absolutely enough for life or death.
Right.
So when you go to bed at night, and I know there's lots of different reasons why people feel like they want their doors open or whatever, but when it comes to fire safety, the golden rule, the best way to handle it is to close your doors, your bedroom doors, before you go to sleep, because it makes a difference.
Okay. One more thing I want to talk about before we leave. We got a fire extinguisher prop, the kitchen.
Yes.
One thing I found interesting, you told me over the last couple of years, is about keeping the pizza pan or something close.
Sure, if you're frying.
Right.
Yeah. So
tell about it.
So kitchen fires are absolutely something we deal with. The biggest part of that is don't leave something on the stove unattended. Right. That's the majority of kitchen fires and cooking fires we run. That's ultimately what happened.
Right.
But obviously, if you're frying with grease, frying with oil, whatever, you don't want to put water on it if it catches on fire. So the easiest thing to do that I've found is to take a cookie sheet, baking sheet, pizza dish, whatever, and just have it on the counter next to you. If your oil happens to catch on fire.
And it happens.
It does happen.
Yeah.
You put your lid on top of the pan, which seals off the oxygen. You turn the eye off, and you just leave it. Just walk away from it until it cools off.
Right.
And then you can take the cookie sheet off and dispose of your oil however you need to dispose of it.
Right. One more thing I want to talk about before we go. The crawl.
Sure, right. Yeah, get low and go is what we tell the kids
right.
For fire prevention. So, it's the standard, if you have a fire and you need to get out, you need to get where the fresh air is, below the smoke, below the heat. So get as low as you can. It sounds funny to talk about adults crawling, but when we go into a fire, even with all our equipment and our hoses, we're crawling.
Right.
That's where the cool, fresh air is to find. So if you need to get out, get low, get out of the house. Don't go back in for anything. That's our job. Let us show up and do what we do.
Right. Even though it might sound kind of funny, it's real serious business.
It is. It is. Absolutely.
All right. Fire Chief Nate Osgood, thank you so much for coming in. So super important tips this time of year.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Nate Osgood, Sylacauga Fire Department. We'll see you next week.